Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. Well, this did not take long at all. We just made a video just a couple days ago talking about how A4769 was passed in the Senate in New Jersey, which is one of the biggest gun control packages in the country. It contains rules and regulations about carry, how you can carry, where you can carry, restrictions on sensitive places, permitting processes, extra fees, extra training. I mean, you name it, this bill contains it. It is an absolutely terrible bill. Well, it took only about, 36 hours or so for Governor Murphy to sign the bill into law. Now, when he signed that bill into law, he also gave a statement. I want to read that for you real quick here. This channel is proud to be sponsored by the USCCA, which is absolutely the best membership you could ever have in your wallet. With your membership, you get things like self-defense, liability, insurance. They also have online training and education so that you know how to react during a self-defense scenario and what to do after a self-defense scenario. Today's bill signing is the culmination of months of negotiations between this administration and our partners in the legislature, delivering on the promise I made this summer to keep New Jersey safe in the aftermath of the Supreme Court's awful decision. Now, the awful decision he's talking about is going to be Bruin, the decision that was pro-freedom, pro-constitution, pro-Second Amendment, the one that says you actually have a right to defend yourself, even with a firearm, outside of your home. That's the decision that he thinks is awful. So apparently he doesn't want you to be able to defend yourself. While I strongly disagree with that decision, obviously, we must abide by it. I'd love to know how this is abiding by it when you're basically taking people's right to carry away and switching it out with a permitting process from start to finish. But okay, let's continue. And today's law fully respects the Second Amendment. This is honestly bordering on completely delusional. While keeping guns out of the wrong hands and preventing them from proliferating in our communities, I am proud to sign this common sense legislation which prohibits carrying guns in sensitive places, including our daycares, hospitals, libraries, and stadiums. So let's go ahead and see here what they have listed for sensitive location. So high density locations, which is something that the Supreme Court specifically said you can't do. You can't do something, make it a sensitive location simply because a lot of people gather there. So again, clearly he respects the Second Amendment. Entertainment venues, including stadiums, arenas, amusement parks, casinos, racetracks, and publicly owned libraries and museums, youth sporting events, and other recreational facilities such as public parks, beaches, and playgrounds, bars, restaurants where alcohol is served, and any other location that serves alcohol for on-premises consumption, airports and public transportation hubs, schools, colleges, universities, daycare, childcare, healthcare, long-term care facilities, correctional facilities, homeless shelters, polling places, and the list goes on here. But try and keep in mind that private businesses, unless they post a sign, are also going to be off limits. So we have polling places, courthouses, law enforcement stations, offices, government buildings, and locations with government meetings, demonstrations, protests, and licensed public gatherings. So demonstrations, protests, licensed public gatherings. In addition to these three categories, the bill set default rule that firearms cannot be carried on private property, including homes, businesses, stores, and houses of worship, unless the private property owner expressly communicates permission through the express consent or specific signage. The only exceptions to the rule are for law enforcement officers. Shocking. They always get a carve out. Now, I probably made 3 or 4 videos about this topic before it was actually signed by the governor. So if you're interested in any of those videos, you want to know more details, I'll put links to those videos down below. And I'll also put a link to some of the information that I'm reading here so you can go ahead and check it out for yourself if you want to know a little bit more in detail. But again, I just wanted to let you know that it was actually signed into law by the governor, and so that's something now that New Jersey has to look forward to. Again, I can pretty much guarantee that there's going to be a slew of lawsuits that's going to follow this up, just like Oregon with their Measure 114, just like New York with the CCIA, and all of these other states that are basically just trying to stick it to the Supreme Court. Okay, fine. You want to give people some of their rights back? Well, we'll figure a way around it. We'll work through whatever loopholes we can find and make the restrictions even worse, because that's what this does. In California, they tried to do it. New York did it. New Jersey. I mean, this, even in Oregon, it's happening. Basically, taking something that was already tough and making it even harder because the Supreme Court tried to make it easier. So again, signed by Governor Murphy, Thank you all very much for watching. I do really appreciate it. And again, there's more info down below. You guys take care.